Excuse me, sir. Are you enjoying yourself at the red dildo party? You didn't come fully prepared with all of your tether in the bags? How did you not get the memo? Welcome to 𝐭𝐫𝑒𝑠𝑎𝑠 crypto trading channel. New viewers, this channel helps new crypto investors overcome their two biggest mistakes. First is not entering trades safely, which is part of what would have bailed you out during this red moment. And second, you're not selling anything and you're buying and praying, which leads to not holding tether during these times. So the two core fundamental basis of my channel would have been extremely helpful if implemented during this dip. Even when I didn't call this dip perfectly, I didn't see it coming. But regardless, the two main things I try to teach folks, it would have set you up for the unexpected to benefit from it. So if you haven't done it yet, turn this up to ×2 speed. This is the later night edition. And if you like what you see at the end here and you hit subscribe, go ahead and hit the thumbs up. But when you subscribe, let me know if you want to be a cryptillion or a crypto crackhead. All right, so turn it up to 2x speed because you're about to get Timified late night edition or early morning edition for Europe. Okay, so in the aftermath or potential aftermath, after I let my patrons know right at this candle on the 30-minute that this looks like a bottom. So I let my Patreon community know right at that candle this could be a bottom based off of bullish divergence that might end up holding up. It might go Bitcoin might come down to 40K. However, I let my community know that looks like a typical bottom or local bottom. And so since then, I have seen a lot of folks wanting, updates and stuff. However, I wanted to let you know that even in light of me not calling these levels perfectly, which you can't expect somebody to do, I'm going to show you the videos or snippets of things I produced last week, just to show you that I feel that my content should have prepared you fairly well for this, and you'd come out a winner. All right, so let's start with unplugging this.
Okay. Might be a good time to, in your other positions, to be holding some tether.
And the thumbnail of the video is literally holding tether for dips, which I made last week. All right. Another video I made last week, right as the dip was happening, which is why I was surprised people really were needing updates over the weekend, my Patreon community included. It actually shocks me, and I'll show you why. But let's I have a few
Bitcoin to perhaps even wick below its weekly 21, get down into the 44, 42. Like, I think that's what exchanges want to happen. They want to get people out of this long. So a lot of people stops are here, or maybe a lot of people stops are in profit already. And stops for new viewers. That means,
okay, there's one. So before this second, big wave down, this was one day before. Watch.
Even like people who initiate longs here, wick them out, liquidate them, and then have price come up. I think they would probably target this.
So that wick. So let's go to that wick, which I let people know this is my guess. I think this was my Friday video. Let's take a look. Okay, down to that wick. Let's measure. .3% difference. So my video on Friday let folks know it's probably going to come down to here, and it was 2% off. So if you have found yourself needing updates during a 2% difference in what I said to everybody I fully expected, as Bitcoin was still way up here in the 46,000 range, because it hit that 21 weekly perfectly. I knew it wasn't going to last, right? So, you have to ask yourself, if I needed updates as price moved within 2% of what, the community was informed that is Tim's best guess, what is the reason for that? And I think a major reason could be that you might have too much of your personal money into crypto. So if that's the case, the money you put into crypto, you should not need to pay bills with it the next month. That is not what you should be doing. And I have in my community, on Patreon included, not just, folks on YouTube. Actually, YouTube general community was calmer. but that is free content, so they can't really make those demands anyway, can they? Yeah, my video discussed that within 2%. But I totally understand. This is scary. I get it. At the same rate, let me stack up a few reasons here of this, what I did leading up to this, without trying to say I called this dip perfectly. I did not think coming down to the weekly 21 at that time would have happened. But anyway, I think my channel content should have gotten people prepared.
I'm still holding Tether. I'm still holding some Tether.
So in 2 different videos that week, it might be a good idea to hold Tether. I'm still holding Tether. I'm still holding Tether. So, and how do I hold Tether? It's from when I take profits on other positions that have done well during a choppy market. I don't just reuse all that Tether right away to try to find the next breakout. I might use half and keep half in Tether until Bitcoin is not choppy and sideways. So even in the event, you can't expect somebody to call all dips perfectly, right? And I was surprised by this one, right? So, however, if you are entering safely, which my channel stresses, by blood and dips, red dildos, don't buy glory or don't chase green candles. So if you had a bunch of positions that you bought at key low points, plus the coins that you hold from which you took some profits and were holding Tether. So imagine a mixture of your portfolio. A bunch of positions you took on during a choppy market, which I've been saying, probably playing ranges. If you play ranges, that means you're taking profits at the top of range and only buying at the bottom of the range. So how many coins have busted through the bottom of the range? Not a lot. We're going to go through this real fast. So I want to show you that my general content should have fully prepared. YouTube, the free content community, which is great. I learned most of my stuff off of free content because honestly, I never even knew communities like that existed. I never trusted the people out there suggesting leveraged moves. I knew that was a bad idea, and I still don't do that on my channel. And even within my Patreon community, I'm extremely weary of even releasing that during a bull market to my my more closed VIP community. It's a different animal. But anyway, and it's a good way to lose your money. So holding tether. Stress, play ranges. So that means taking profits at the top and not reutilizing until you see something at the bottom of a range. So if you did recap or re-employ some Tether, you only bought bottoms of ranges. So obviously my whole Tether mantras that I said multiple times last week was great advice in light of not seeing this coming, but you still would have been prepared. So let's check out the other half, how I think that even without calling a dip, that my content should have prepared you. Okay, so we can kind of see this next time. And the reason I say this stuff is because you can't, I don't expect myself to see every exact move. But over time, if you do general things, you're going to be prepared for those times that you're vastly and, just off the chains wrong, right? Because you have a couple of core actions that you take within your trading. Okay, holding tethers one. And at the beginning of that tether video, I even started up. Okay, I mentioned this a couple times earlier on my channel, but I guess I wasn't clear enough. I want to say very specifically about holding tether. Okay, but let's see what would have happened if you would have bought some altcoins, which this channel follows a lot of small altcoins. Let's see what would have happened if you would have only bought bottoms or ranges, okay? Mixed with also having held tether. Let's see. Let's go to a 2-hour range. Viacoin isn't really a range coin though, but so what's the range? Be safe, I would have put it about there. And actually, I already have this here and here. So if you had taken profits here, and you only had bought here during the big portion of the dip, how much would you be down? 6%. Not bad. ADB. Okay, its current range. Probably, I would say the top is about here. I would probably say this is the top of the range, and the other stuff is kind of a blow off. So, did you have chances to take profits here? Nope. Haven't yet. But if you only bought bottoms or ranges, and let's say we didn't even anticipate this being the bottom of the range. Let's say this, even this, because this is more appropriate, right? So let's say if you only had entered there during the very worst of that is 31%. So that is a but that actually didn't happen during this dip. Let's go to the daily. That actually would not have happened. When was this dip? Like it was yesterday, right? 17th. So 1, 2, 3. So you bought at the range versus BTC, 8%. Not bad. BPRO. Buying the bottom of the range, which we had already identified, was the top of this, around a penny. Very, very well-known bottom. So but that actually doesn't look like it's the bottom of the range. So let's call this the bottom of the range. So during the midst of that dip, if you only bought the bottom of the range, 9%, and you're back into profit now. Bolt did dip down. Freaking Bolt. Damn. Well, Bolt is going to be one of those where you did get nicked in the butt a little bit. So bottom of the range about there, midst of the dip, 24% on an altcoin. So on that one, you'd be kind of decently in the red. But and honestly, I think I might have tried to accumulate a tiny bit more here. So that small purchase of mine to add on to my Bolt position, preparing for a breakout whenever that might happen. Because I'm going to wait this one out, because I think it'll be a big breakout. And I think it'll be worth the wait. Obviously not putting more than, 10%. I think like 2% of my portfolio is in Bolt, right? So I'm okay with holding on 2% and seeing opportunity costs fly past of other breakouts. I'm okay with that, because you don't know when it's going to happen, right? So, so this was one of the worst cases. Buying the bottom of the range, you'd be way up. Interesting. Okay. For my community members, let's go to the ribbons now. Well, shoot, most of us know you need to. I don't like to buy anything that's. Am I in the right time frame? Yeah, I would have only bought this, so you're still in the green. during a choppy market, I'm not going to buy much above that line. So in the green on that one, which makes up for a lot of your bull, only buying around the gray line. Up 13% on this one. Buying, so this was accumulating just under, so I would have got, so the bottom of the range would be just below the gray line. During that dip, 16%. Not horrible for crypto. DPPT, maybe call the bottom of the range about right there. Right now, you would actually be at even, exactly. From here to there during the midst of the dip, 9%. Idea. So I'm staking this. However, in my video, I was very, very clear that I accumulated more here, or plan to, and I strongly feel, and I even drew these lines. You see these lines? I was super clear in my video that I strongly anticipate price to come back down and hit this red line again. I thought it would happen at the horizontal, but regardless, if you were only waiting to buy that red line per exact signals I provided on this one coin, and I don't always give exact signals, but this one was an easy play, you would be exactly even right now, and at the midst of it, only be 8% down if you bought the line. So if you saw it dip through there, you perhaps like would have waited till it dipped through. Man, a coin that I thought was very strong. So buying the gray line, which I thought was what I wanted to do, in the midst of the dip, down 2%. Not bad. I mean, Triads didn't have a range at the time, really, did it? Or had it already dipped? Oh, it already dipped before the dip. So you wouldn't have bought back yet. Or maybe you would have here, actually. Yeah, it still hasn't hit that. So you still wouldn't have repurchased this yet if you didn't catch that. And perhaps you would have taken profits up here and be holding Tether. Right? That's one you would have been taking profits on, hopefully. Because it got within a certain percentage of the previous stop, which my golden number is like around 16%. You put your sellers in about 16% from the top, something I say quite a bit, and you would have taken profits, and you would have been holding Tether. West looks actually pretty good right now. So bottom of the range, you can fully anticipate to come back to, a previous big wick. Pretty damn common play. I look to buy that all the time. I retrace it back to an all-time high. So right now you'd be better than a break even. At the midst of it though, 3 days ago, 8.89% down. So in crypto, being average of the ones that are up, the ones that are down, that looks like at worst, if you average that up, maybe 5% down, but better than break even now, and you had Tether to buy that, so you're way in the green. So let me know if I'm fooling myself here, but I feel that, with the fact that I don't know what coins everybody's holding, I can't give specific buy-sell stuff on, especially for you, but even on Patreon, community, I can't do that. So hopefully we can see in effect the two things that my channel really goes after. Safe entries. I just went through that coin by coin. How it would have served you well, mixed with taking profits like a boss, aka holding Tether. You would be in a freaking awesome position right now. As opposed to, biting your nails over the weekend. You shouldn't have been biting your nails over the weekend. At all. This should be like stuff you drool over. Do you know how long I've been waiting for Bitcoin to hit the weekly 21? So I knew that that is when the life-changing, types of entries. Would you feel the entry the next hour, the next day? No. Would you get, if taking leverage position, would you get wicked out a few times? Sure. But this is the moment I've been waiting for so long. So just think about it this way. If I have been waiting for this moment for so long, my content has provided two fail-safe ways to be prepared for this, even when, your best analyst in the world didn't see it coming, whoever, right? Even though I did see some people call that high or low, I didn't think that was going to happen. So my TA, didn't work here. However, the general content would have served you so well. Even the content that same week would have served you so beautifully, even without good TA. Just for two core principles, it would have been badass right now. And who's sitting badass right now? I've been waiting for this for so long. So, okay, actually, I got off that thought. Think of it this way. How can I be somebody who's been saying for so long, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to hit this? Right? I've been saying it for so long. And then mix that, if you were one of those people who have been like, biting your nails, how can our mentalities be so different? What does that say about the fact that you were biting your nails during this? How can those mentalities be so different? Which one's better? Right? Which one do you think is better? So would you you should be waiting for these moments, people. It has to come down to hit it at some time. However, I did think something else was going to happen. I thought Bitcoin was going to retest up here. And I did state that in that same video that I brought up. That I was going to come up and test, and then test the 21 as price action coming up here would have pulled the 21 up a little higher than it tagged it. I thought that was what's going to happen. All right. Now, this Wyckoff thing. Ending with this. Folks, let me show you a few things. First off, the daily. This is the daily 200. Before you freak out, and what have I been saying on my channel? Bitcoin got too hot too fast. Therefore, it might move sideways exactly like what did in 2017 for 200 days? Ethereum and Litecoin. So look at this. Let's go to, let me make sure I've been recording this whole time. Now let's go to Ethereum. Look at that orange line. Is there a Wyckoff distribution that looks exactly like this? Yeah. It's the third Wyckoff distribution. Looks exactly like this. Where did price check twice? That line exactly. Was everything fine? Frick yeah, it was. Before its last two rot. Litecoin. In Litecoin's huge scare, where did it go down to? About the daily 200. Was everything fine? Yeah. Everything was fine. Now let's look at it on the weekly. So last bull run, Bitcoin did not get too hot too fast. So it did not live hardly like even a minute, much under its weekly 21 or even weekly 10. However, it got too hot too fast this time. So let's look. When it goes under its 21, what happened on Ethereum and Litecoin when they also did that in 2017 after getting too hot too fast? Crazy, the same points. Did it stay under it very much? No. What kind of reaction came off of it? A very strong reaction. So, one thing that Wyckoff distribution channel does have that does align with stuff I've been kind of thinking is that it really does seem that this market has been propped up and that it's fairly fabricated. I already know the first one was. We've already pretty much confirmed that with the fact that exchanges made more money in one day than any other day than like the next 3, or 10 days combined or whatever it was, in any single days. It was clearly a setup, with the Cardano Coinbase stuff, the Coinbase listing, it was all propped up pretty easily. However, what happened this time was that to lead people into being bullish, even tricking me, we had Cardano skyrocketing, Ethereum skyrocketing, while Bitcoin was wishy-washy. But if those two, big players are looking pretty good, the market should be pretty confident. And right as Cardano's pump happened, to get people even more confident in the general market, and myself included, that's when it happened. Because in order to make money off of a leverage short, you have to have leverage longs participating. You can't long if there's no one there shorting on that platform for the same exact amount in quantity. However, I think it's just too easy to point your fingers at somebody else all the time. Sometimes you got to point the finger to yourself and say, I just wasn't freaking prepared. And honestly, let's say this is fabricated. Who cares? You need to learn how to make money off that. And following 2 simple rules, you'd be badass position right now. So stop pointing fingers and saying Wyckoff this and that, and this the big bad boogeyman coming to get me. No. The big bad boogeyman has pockets too, with money in it. Just learn how to pickpocket the boogeyman. Don't be scared of the boogeyman. Sneak up behind the boogeyman. Scare his ass. You can run, but you can't hide. Cryptillions and crypto crackheads. All right, I'll leave you with that Rick and Morty reference. Y'all just got Timified.